Our lucky last speaker of the day is Dr. Ian Pringle, Managing Director of Bayrock Resources.
Thank you, Kirsty. I need to prop that up a bit. Thank you very much. My story is a little bit different from the last in that we're closer to Nordic exploration. Todd's talk a few talks ago. We're in Sweden though. We're in Scandinavia, and we're looking at high-grade nickel assets in Sweden in the northern, central northern belt of Skellefteå, and we've got a number of projects there. But just briefly, we're an unlisted company, so you won't see us on the ASX. We have 100% assets in Sweden, and it's in an area that's it's dominated by a whole host of different mines, copper and base metals. Our flagship asset, and I'll talk about these in a little bit more detail, it's just a summary, Langeau mine. It's an old mine, mined in the 1940s, took out about 500,000 tonnes. Of 2.2% nickel and about 0.7 copper and a whole lot of cobalt and palladium, and we'll talk about that. And we've got a near-surface nickel projects around that and at Vostok, which I'll talk about. Both of those projects we've drilled, drilling information in the last couple of months. So we have a program on the massive sulphide mineralisation. We've got really high grades of nickel coming out of that and high-grade copper. We've got a real considerable upgrade in these projects and the other surrounding ground we've got in Sweden. We think we've put our foot on a new mineral province, near-surface mineralisation that just hasn't been looked at or explored much at all in the last 100 years. So we're pretty excited. They're all strategically located, European Union to the south, and they're really hungry, as Todd explained. Gave a good set of slides there on the local market. So we're going to be feeding that, and I won't repeat some of Nordic Nickel's slides showing how hungry the European Union is for nickel and cobalt and most battery mineral products. So we're looking to progress these projects into development as quickly as we can. High grade, close to the surface in the mining district. We have a great management team, and our motto is a lot. We have location, ore grade, and the team is so important. Kirsty's described me. I'm an exploration geologist, go back many years, got lots of interesting developments under my skin, and I won't go into a lot of detail. Amanda Scott's our exploration manager on site, also a New Zealander. She's worked here in WA, some might know Amanda. She's a fantastic geologist. She's based close to Langeau in a town there called Mala, just 10-minute drive from our main asset, and she's winning all sorts of awards and achievements in Sweden. She's fluent in Swedish, and she has a fantastic reputation already. She's been in Sweden now for a number of years, so she's really settled in. Rob Thompson, who I've worked with Rob, he's a mining engineer. He's really hands-on. Rob and I have worked on a number of projects building mines. That's what it's all about, and Rob's a fantastic backdrop to our company and a supporter on the mining side, and fantastic direction from ideas on where we should be in the mine development scene. So he's great. Gavin Taylor-Bullen, he's another Australian but now based in Sweden. Family is Swedish, school kids are all fluent in Swedish, and Gavin's our director in country. He's got a background in mining hardware, software, and a great asset going forward. And Dan Smith, many of you will know Dan. He's based here in Perth. He's a company secretary and director of a number of small companies, mostly mining companies. So we're unlisted, as I said, and we have a fantastic team. We're also supported by a number of other people on site that have intensive exploration experience, not only in Scandinavia but also Australia, and particularly in nickel. Our projects we divide into two. The first is Langeau. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. It was a historic mine. And Vostok, which is about 50 kilometres in that area 1 on that map. You can see on the map where we are. as I say, central northern Sweden, well below the Arctic Circle, work all year round in here, and it's also the home of the Bolidens mines. They operate 3 mines in the district. Kirstenberg is only 20 or 30 kilometres south of Langier, and they truck base metal sulfide run-of-mine material to the coast where they process it at Renstrong. So we've got lots of synergies there and potential assets as far as help for developing anything we do at Langier and Vostok. Langier was a small resource, as I said. It's been drilled, the top of it at least. There was actually a mine in the 1940s, produced about 100,000 tonnes at a similar grade to the resource, copper and high nickel, a little bit of cobalt, and platinoids, of course. So it's a massive sulphide. It's been tested, so we know the metallurgy works pretty well, although we obviously have to progress that a fair bit more. It's got a lot of resource extension potential, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. It's 60 kilometres or so south of Langier, which we've also just finished a 17-hole drilling program, and I'll discuss that. It's a high-grade, near-surface nickel-copper deposit, and it's one of many that haven't been tested. It's really quite exciting country up there. So we've just applied for a new lease south of Vostok to cover some more really exciting new nickel prospects that have been located there. The Northern Nickel Line, I won't talk in a lot of detail on those. We've got 4 projects there. Notrask, it's an untested company maker, and if you look at the back of the current pay dirt that came out today, you'll see a fantastic map on that, and I'll show you in a little bit more detail. The others have also got previous good intersections of really good grade nickel sulfides and underexplored, all been drill tested, but lots of potential and very similar settings to Sakatti and some of the northern Finland deposits that Todd was talking about. Now in Langier, a little bit of detail. This is a long section on your bottom left, and that's the drilling that's been undertaken. It's only a small resource, but you can see that we've just got a hole into the central part of that to pull out some of the run-of-mill sulfides, if you like, for some metallurgical testing, so that shows it's all in the right place. It's open at depth, and we've got obviously upside there with the mine plan. There's already a couple of shafts into it, and the workings on the far left, you can see some 100,000 tonnes or thereabouts that were pulled out of that. So our plan next year is to add more drillings at A and B and to upgrade that. But more importantly, perhaps, is the previous work that was done was on an area, a tenement area, that was only 0.4 of a square kilometre. Really, you can see the resource outline there. That was pretty well the tenement boundary. They couldn't step the holes out of that, and they were confined to that little area. Well, there's clearly a lot of drilling to be done to the north, where it's still very much open, but a long trend, and that white dotted line is a 6-kilometre trend with a lot of targets. It's magnetics on the left and geotherm on the right, and you can see outside that area within our now 42 square kilometre tenement, or 41.2 square kilometre tenement, we've got lots of targets that are all covered by a veneer of alluvial glacial sediments. So you can't see the outcrop in the majority of this tenement, and that's why that the old timers haven't located these deposits. They've been covered. Geophysics is a fantastic thing. So we've got multiple drill targets along that trend. That's the 6-kilometre trend, now focusing a little bit, A, B, C and D, and we need to fine-tune a little bit on the surface geophysics. We plan to fly EM over all our areas, but ground geophysics here to fine-tune our drilling targets, and we've got some walk-up. These deposits don't occur one-off. They're all nested deposits. If you heard from previous speakers, you get a number of these things. Well, Langier has clearly got friends. Just flicking off now to Vostok. This is, as I said, 60-odd kilometres to the north-west. And this is just a magnetic map, regional magnetic map, taken off the airborne work that's available to the public. Nothing special about this. The whole area has had 25 historical holes, most of those by Boliden. Boliden were miners of copper, and they've been mining for 90-something years. They weren't interested in other metals, really, until the last couple of years. Now they're involved obviously in nickel and whatever, but when they hit nickel in some of these holes, they really weren't interested. It didn't go down very well metallurgically with what they were processing. So that went into a black hole. The ground was tied up and not really looked at again. So those 25 holes are really quite historic holes. We've got the detail on those, but you can see the central one there, Storbodson. We decided to select that because it had some near-surface mineralisation. We drilled 17 holes there just a couple of months ago. Fantastic. Great intersections, high-grade nickel, but you'll see they're all surface. The deepest intersection's 18 metres, 1/8. So it's not like hundreds of metres of depth. These things are just below the till cover of 5 or 6 metres. Don't see any outcrop. But these things are still open in pretty well every direction. Fantastic looking sulphide nickel, fresh right at the surface. A fantastic opportunity for a very low cost but quick start mining. So we're really thrilled with this, and this is great, right close to roads, easy access to Lane Jiao and any processing we do. So it's a fantastic complement, and those other tenements in that area will be looked at as well, you know, and I think we'll find much the same thing, near surface high-grade sulphides akin to the old drilling. Nottrask, that's one of our areas to the northeast. And we've picked this up, and I'm just amazed that a major hasn't got in there. The scale of that is 2 kilometres, so that magnetic anomaly there, the circular thing, is very similar to what Todd was telling you about Sakatti in northern Finland. These are 100+ million tonne deposits of high grade. Now, this is a layered intrusive complex. You can see the little map there that was published a few years ago now, but there's enough detail there, and you can see the road outcrop. That's massive sulphide. That's, you know, we've just finished a sampling mapping program along that roadway, and we've got dozens of massive sulphide outcrops along that road, with virtually the deepest drill hole in this whole map area. We cover pretty well all this map area, 100% ours, tenement-wise, with an EL, and that outcrop is quite considerably larger than you can see on that picture, and that's along the zone basal part of this layered complex. The complex hasn't been drill tested. We'll fly EM over this area, and we'll hopefully attract the major to drill some deep holes into the central part of the system, because these systems tend to pond along structural zones. The major fault zone, as you can see, that's mapped, and these areas of sulphide mineralisation tend to pond along the conical structure at the bottom of these things and along some of the structural contacts. So they just haven't been tested. It's a fantastic opportunity, 100% Bayrock. This is more of the same. You can see some of the same outcrop because it's such a beautiful outcrop. This is some of the historic core, not our drill core. This is all held in a town called Mala, which is only 10-minute drive from Lane Jiao, and that's where the Geological Survey Northern Division of Sweden has their main offices, and we can use their infrastructure, their core library, and their core logging facilities. A really great upside. So that core is from their core facility. You can see beautiful massive sulphide textures. The gabbro, as they go through it, is speckled with disseminated sulphides. Excuse me. And clearly, not only is there high grade there, but there's 6 zones of disseminated mineralisation. As I said, only one hole drilled deeper than 156 metres in that whole tenement area, and pretty well all of them have got some pretty good looking nickel intersections in them anyway. You can see the model on that little inset. That's the sort of intrusive system we're looking at, and the target in the hinge zone over there can be a pretty massive target. And the 5 holes up top, they are the historic holes. None of them go down more than 150 odd metres. They just scratch the surface, so we're a waste of time. EM will give us a much better definition on the depth of that target. So this is a district opportunity because it has these operating mines, and what you see there in those are mine deposits. The red and orange in Skellefteå area are the Boliden operations, and further to the north, the blue are the magnetite mines that feed 90% of European iron ore. The projects are really, really well located with infrastructure. They've got active mines. They've got all the infrastructure you'll need, good mining community, everybody's aware of mining. It's a very different community here than southern Sweden, which don't have a lot of mines and now are much more environmentally sensitive, if you like. And we're doing a lot of work on our social licence in the area, close to the Baltic Sea and the ports. I won't go on too much detail. We've ticked all the boxes of what we've got to do this year. We're looking at a little bit of metallurgical work and we've just halfway through reconnaissance geology in a lot of our areas. We're going to do EM, as I said. We're going to define our Langia surrounds, targeting our Vostok, and we'll drill some of those as funds allow next year. We've got a comprehensive growth plan and we intend to really hit the ground running. So watch us. We'll be probably a public company in the next 6 or 12 months, but we'll be really making a mark on the map. Thank you very much.